Okay, I've just pressed the record button, guys. Let's quickly get into a few coins here. I'm just going to mute everybody, and then we can have a nice discussion here. Okay, the first thing here with regard to Litecoin, we can expect Litecoin to go down maybe a little bit further to about $55. I really want to see this blue line here, that Litecoin comes down and touches that blue algorithm line. That line is derived from a mathematical equation. It's basically like a math. If you work a formula out, that it says that from that top, it must touch these lines, it touch that one there, and then what I really want to see is that Litecoin touches that line there. Let's get into Ethereum, but okay, before that, so we expect that drop there. We expect then Litecoin to go back up again. And that divergence, guys, remember this from about 3 or 4 months ago. I remember when Boris actually here somewhere, it must have been here in March of this year, asked me, what is Litecoin going to do when it reaches that top there? Now, we expected Litecoin to hit about 190. But then I said we're going to drop and go sideways, and we even said that we could get into the $50 level. This was way back at that time. And then at that time, we said that we want to see that heartbeat. Guys, that heartbeat is forming perfectly. And if this heartbeat plays out, we are going to see 1,000% rise minimum in the coins that we are talking about, those 5 coins. There is the probability that there's going to be another 1 or 2 coins that I'm going to add in the group, but we're still looking at it. I can't confirm that those coins will break out, but if we get confirmation, I'll let you know what they are. But for now, we follow the five coins. And just for the new people that are here, the 5 coins are Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, Digibyte, and Bitcoin Cash. Do not disregard Bitcoin as well. Keep a little bit of Bitcoin in your portfolio. So we will see this heartbeat playing out basically up there into A, B, C, D, and then we're going to have a breakout. Let me quickly get into Ethereum here. What I want to see from Ethereum is that Ethereum comes down this algorithm line as well, that blue line, this line here, the diagonal blue line. I don't think Ethereum is going to touch that line where Litecoin actually does touch it. But regardless, guys, what we want to see in Ethereum, we want to see one more drop. Round about here to 147, 150, that could be the final drop. I actually have orders placed at 119, just in case it stabs through and gets into that lower level. You never know. Unlike my Litecoin orders, I've got Litecoin orders stacked up from 60, 58, 57, 56, up till about $49. You imagine buying Litecoin at 49, will be incredible. So with regard to Ethereum, I see Ethereum breaking out here, going back up, comes down again, goes sideways. And what I want to see is that Ethereum lands in this block here roundabout to this level here of around about 210, 220, 230 in that block. This is called a pattern of advances. If you look at the Wyckoff phase, similar to the Wyckoff, where you get a pattern of advances, it consolidates, and then it breaks out upwards. And Ethereum, as you mentioned, as I also mentioned, is the first coin that actually breaks out upwards. Let's have a look here at Bitcoin Cash quickly. Bitcoin Cash, similar to Litecoin and Ethereum, still has to make this low into this point here, into that blue box. It doesn't matter really, guys, if you buy at 278 or you buy at 250. The price is low. The next is an uptrend. Okay, with regard to Bitcoin Cash, we're nearly there. We're nearly there. And most of you know that from here, from that top in 21 June, we've been talking about this downtrend here. And for the last 30 days, we've been really focusing on getting into this low point here. So we do believe this will be the low point in cryptos. Let's quickly have a look at the Bitcoin dominance. The Bitcoin dominance, if you look at this one here, the market cap Bitcoin dominance here on the top left of the chart. Now, right here at 27 February 2017, the market actually dropped. And you can see that Bitcoin dominance dropped as well. But here from January 2018, the market actually went upwards. The Bitcoin dominance got a little bit stronger. And we are now at this point here where there's very little room for the Bitcoin dominance to play out. And I believe that probably here about 73, that red line, that is where Bitcoin dominance is going to play out, and then it's going to come down and move downwards. Now, this downwards movement is good for cryptos because that means that the altcoins, like for example, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, will outperform Bitcoin. Bitcoin can't go much higher than that red line. So we're nearly at that point there where it's going to have to stop and dominance will start taking over. Let's quickly have a look here at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's still the same example. I do believe that Bitcoin is going to go down to right about that level there of about 8.8. There's a big probability it's going to break through this 9147 line, that red line, and just come there and then turn upwards. Let me just see if I can put the algorithm line in. We still expect this to play out somewhere around this level here. The y-axis is still in play. There's everything in our data seems to suggest that the y-axis and the z-axis is yet to play out. This one was the x-axis, that is complete. This downtrend here is something that really amazes me, the fact that Bitcoin actually went downwards. But nonetheless, guys, you know, that is what it is. I do believe that we're still going to have this trend playing out upwards, and these targets will still be hit. That target there, about 15,000, breaking this 14,000 level, we're then going to head into that 17,000. I'm waiting for that $17,000 level. I do believe we're going to get it. And if you extend this 2B algorithm, I just call it the mathematical equation because that's actually what it really is. If you extend that, that is how I see it play out. Now, there is a buffer here. You know, there's some sort of a buffer always with the 2B algorithm. This means that I believe that Bitcoin will basically be stopped by that algorithm. It's the outer layer, the top layer and the lower level. More likely the top layer of the 2B algorithm mathematical equation. Similar what you get with the Bollinger Band. So we believe that could get into about 8.8 over this weekend, maybe Friday, Saturday. So Monday, of course, is a holiday in America, a financial bank holiday, or what is that holiday, Wendy? Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Yeah. It's actually very convenient that it actually works out like that. Very strange, really, actually. But I do believe that we are going to get a lower point here. I believe that from what I hear, that the banking industry, the institutional investors, by Friday, between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock on Friday, American time, New York time, that they will have placed their orders and that they don't expect the market to drop much further. Now, remember this, that the market always in America over the weekend starts dropping. And do expect maybe a smaller drop. But guys, really, if you get Bitcoin at 8.8, it's a bargain. If it goes down to 8.7, you shouldn't worry about it. If it goes down to 8.4, don't worry about it, you know. Just add to your positions. It's a very small margin here for what is coming. Now, from this low point here right down to, let's say, the 100% is probably around about 17,000. So if you can get 8.8, 9, you're going to look at about 100% gain upwards in Bitcoin. Now, let's quickly have a look here at Litecoin. I'm going to have to go to this chart here. Specifically with Litecoin, from this low, this expected low, you can also see that that is also 100% gain up to this point here. So that heartbeat is going to play out. We're going to have a drop here and then upwards momentum. Just earlier this morning, actually, let me just spend some time here. Earlier this morning, I actually deleted that, but I'm going to show you what Litecoin is going to look at. Remember, I said that closer to the time, I'm going to give you a little bit more detail of how we see Litecoin play out. And I'm going to try and draw it here for you. So first of all, we expect a bit of a drop here. I do believe that it could go past this red line perhaps into about $54. That's why I've got my order set at lowest at $49. But anything below 60 is good. But I'm going to draw it out for you and show you what I believe could happen next. We're going to have a retracement somewhere back here, a bit of a sideways action, and then we're going to have a very big, large vertical spike upwards to round about this level here of about 120, somewhere around there. Litecoin is expected to hover around here for a few days, something like this. And at this point here, it's going to make another drop into probably around about this level here of about $70 to $80. It's then going to come back up again to that same level there with another drop again into this level. From there onwards, a little bit sideways movement downwards, a little bit of a move upwards, something like this. So in this case, we just simply follow the pattern. Now here, it's going to do a breakout, a fake breakout. Come back here, and then shoot back up. So don't look at the timeline on the bottom here, because I just drew it without looking at the dates. You follow the pattern. Now, there's just not enough space to draw it, but I hope you guys get what I mean. This is the pattern that you need to follow. If we probably make it, let's just see if I can make it a little bit shorter probably. Breakout there, a drop here, uptrend there. Sorry, just give me a second here. Anyway, it's just sideways there, breakout there, and maybe there. So let's just delete that. Okay, guys, something similar like that. Okay, so this is what we see in our data. I think the previous one was probably a little bit better. Let's just leave that one there. Okay, so that is the pattern that we're going to look at. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because I'm now going to start buying here at this bottom. I'm going to sell there. I'm going to buy back here. This is what I'm planning to do. I'm not saying that everybody on this call must do this, guys, because you have to know what you are doing. And I'm not selling 100%. I only trade with about 20 or 30%. And then I come back and buy in the bottom here again, and then we take this uptrend. So see here, let me just draw the arrows. I'm buying here. I'm selling here. I'm buying here again. And I'm selling there again. Now, if you go back 2 months ago, remember when I showed this pattern and I said that we can buy and sell, and I just haven't got that now. I can't remember where it is now. It's probably in one of the blog posts, but where we show how you can actually make money by buying low, selling high, and I give the percentages there. That will, you can literally go and have a look at that one. I don't know, Bill, if you've still got that thing there. Remember about a few months ago? I do remember,
but
I just haven't got it in front of me now, but there was one, Bill, yeah.
Yeah. So Marius, just a really quick question though, not looking at dates, but this trend, this pattern, a 2-week pattern, a 3-week pattern, how long do you think this pattern will take to play out?
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Now guys, see here, this date here, 11 or 12 September, should probably be about somewhere there. So this pattern, let me just quickly have a look. That would be 14 days. So this whole pattern here from now till, I think this breakout could most likely happen here around about 24, 25 September, okay. the breakout. Let's just go back to, let's see, have a look and see if we can see this one. Can you see here on this one, in this specific one, I just give you a basic, it's going to go up, it's going to drop sideways and break out. This is probably a little bit more accurate. So let's have a look and see how many days are here, Bill. This is the one that we've been following. So, oh, there's the date actually. There it is. So let's just extrapolate that since the breakout. So you look at about another 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, if you bring it back, you look at about, yeah, let's give it about 18 to 20 days. Remember last week I said there was about 21 days till about 10 or 11 September. So the breakout happens after 10, 11, 12 September in that week. Now, guys, it's not just simply going to be a big arrow. You're not going to see this, bang, and everything goes up. It's going to go sideways upwards. And by the latter part of September, that's when I can really say that you're going to see a spike, literally a move where Litecoin could go up $100 in 1 hour. Okay, so expect that later on. But for now, you can see that, see this thing here that I drew here? That shows about 19 to 20 days. So I think let's give it about 20 days till here, around about after about 20 September, where you're going to see substantial movements. Let's go and have a look and see what Ethereum is. Because Ethereum is the first one really that shows the breakout. My opinion about Ethereum is that here in the week of 10 September, let me just have a look and see when that is. Yeah, see 10. The 10th of September starts that Monday, Tuesday. In that week, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, you're going to see a consolidation period here in Ethereum. That will be the sign that the altcoins are busy to break out. There's underlying momentum. Nobody will see it. Nobody will feel it. You won't hear it. You won't see it. It's just going to happen. There's no big event that pushes cryptos really to break out. Everybody's waiting for that big event of the stock market crash or an announcement that gold is the backing of all the fiat currencies now. Guys, it's not going to happen. This is simply just going to be a breakout. There are underlying factors. And remember last time I said I don't really want to say anything about it. Because I didn't want people to get disappointed because everybody's waiting for something to happen. It won't happen. You know, this is the movement of cryptocurrencies in relation to sentiment. The world population gets into cryptos. They're slowly driving it, and bang, it moves upwards. Guys, let me tell you what's happening in Ghana. You know, as you know, I've got my business partner, Ijoki Nakaraya, in Ghana and Nigeria. People are signing up in cryptocurrencies like you have never seen. The only reason people don't hear about it is because there's no reporting on it. The mainstream media will not report on what's happening in Ghana, West Africa, what's happening in China, in Taiwan with cryptos. People are jumping into cryptos like crazy. I spoke to Caleb and Brown this day, to a certain person there in Caleb and Brown, and he was talking about the amount of accounts that are being opened in Caleb and Brown here in Australia. Crazy stuff, guys, but it looks like everything is dead, but it's not. Underlying, there's a lot of stuff happening. Now, it could be that institutional money is starting to come in here as well, which I hear now. It's a big thing. Institutional money is coming in and they're buying over the counter. You don't see it necessarily in CoinMarketCap. But I don't want to put my hopes on institutional money. At the end of the day, institutional money will be small in relation to the world population getting into cryptos. And this is what we see here. No big event is going to drive this price high. Guys, this is why you won't find anybody on any analyst on YouTube talking about 1,000% spike unless they saw our data. We see it in our algorithm data because it's like brewing a pot of coffee. The smell is getting better and better and better. If my call is correct here, guys, I tell you now that the amount of money that you are going to make is going to be staggering because many of us now have consolidated money in our accounts like 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. Some of us here have got 5 million, 10 million. For goodness sake, guys, there's one guy here with $400 million in cryptos. it's staggering. The amount of money that you're going to make. If you have $50,000, I tell you now, for you to get to $1 million is not impossible. Anyway, I don't want to get off track here, but guys, when we see this consolidation phase here in Ethereum, that is the sign that we're going to break out, Bill. And Bill, that date again, let's say Ethereum is a little bit earlier. I believe that is about 12, 14 days maybe, where we're going to see the consolidation phase. And Bill, when we see that consolidation phase, let's go to Litecoin. See that consolidation phase is about here. See that Litecoin has got some small consolidation phase first, but Litecoin breaks out a little bit later. So the first coin to break out is going to be Ethereum, or not really break out, but show us the signs of breakout. And then everything the momentum speeds up. So September is going to be a really great month. Go ahead.
Sorry, the price 220 is approximate target on Ethereum at that point.
Yeah, remember I said that I think it was about 210 to 220 in the blog post, that range, 210, 220. That will be the consolidation phase. The reason is it's just below this one. So Boris, I know you always look at technical indicators. Technical indicators. It's just below this B, that B line there. And it's about, see, that is 240. So you look at about $20 or $30 less. That is the consolidation phase. Guys, this is probably, there are two indicators that I'm looking at. One is the heartbeat in Litecoin. The second one is the consolidation phase for Ethereum. If those two things line up, man, I'm investing a lot more money in cryptos. Because remember, although I am placing my orders on Litecoin, let me just see where Litecoin is here. On this, anything below 60, I'm not spending all my cash. Okay, so remember this, guys. Never ever spend all your cash. I'm buying as much as I can, but I'm waiting for this consolidation phase. See, there is Litecoin, the consolidation phase. Then you get a fake breakout, and on that drop there, that's where I like to buy. Big money now, you know, certain money, convincing me that there is a breakout. And what I like to be, I want to be convinced that this pattern is playing out. This is the heartbeat. Let's go back to Litecoin again. This heartbeat, guys, that. Nice heartbeat. If this plays out, you can be for sure that we're going to hit 80,000 Bitcoin and we're heading up to 1,000 plus Litecoin. More likely, very close to $3,000. And I'm saying between 1,000 and 3,000, this is what my data sees. I can't give you an exact point, the exact dollar, but I can tell you now that 3,000 is it's in the making. Time frame for that, Bill, probably most likely getting into January. If we don't hit it in January, we're going to head over into probably February for a very high point in Litecoin. But guys, everything looks good. Let's just get back to Bitcoin. Remember previously I said that we are going to potentially hit this point here of 1867. See this figure here? I don't believe that is going to happen anymore. There's a lot of downwards pressure, and it started here, right at that point there, on 6, 7, 8 August, where the market actually went downwards. And our indicators pointed that Bitcoin is going to drop through the Python y-axis through the 2B algo. Now, when the 2B algo crossed the Python y-axis, it invalidates a drop, because this is the world's best indicator for altcoins, not necessarily Bitcoin. But if that, as long as this 2B algo goes above the 600, you know, the Python y-axis, it's good for altcoins. And this is why I'm very positive on altcoins. What's happening with Bitcoin here with this long dragged downwards movement, I believe is nothing more than trying to shake out weak hands. So we will still see the Y move, and we are still heading up into those points. Now, also remember that the algorithm, the 53-day algorithm ends here on 10-11 September. And at that point, we should see some positive movement as well. So for now, well, is there any questions there, Boris? Any other questions?
Well, it seems to me like Ethereum, once it gets like on this next couple of days, if we get filled on the orders, you essentially leave it alone. You don't trade that. It's insignificant drops on the way up. But Litecoin, it sounds like, yeah, I mean, from 120 back to 80, I would probably do something there. It's just me, you know, but great opportunity, of course. And I want to comment, Marius, I'd like to thank you for a webinar that you put together on Tuesday. This was unbelievable timing. So thank you very much. And I was able to make some moves because of that. So thank you. Big thank you.
Yeah, no, that's good. Guys, we all just need to work together. You know, if there's any data that you guys find or know of, let me know. And it's nice to warn people in advance, especially for me, right at that point there. You know, when I saw that we haven't hit this low point yet, I sold 30% of my cryptos, which is a heck of a lot of money, and we have not yet bought back. I'm waiting, and you imagine the money that you then make. It's like farming. You get more cryptos, and in a small move like that, you know. But nonetheless, I think we've been following that downwards pattern for a while now, and one of the reasons I think why most of us are not really, it didn't catch us by surprise, is because we knew from previous reports that we are heading into a low point. On last week's webinar, I just thought if I looked at Litecoin, for example, let's just quickly go to Litecoin. Man, these charts can catch you so quickly off guard. Where's that Litecoin one now? Oh, this one. You know, Boris, if you look at this ABC correction, now let's say you want to have 5 counts. Okay, yeah. If you look at this one, and we argued last week and we said that is the one, that's your 2. And we say that this one here is 4, 3 and 4. And then that one there is the low. Simply because that one there, let me just make it larger. And guys, this is a lesson actually for all of us, you know. See that point there is lower. Let me just put a line in there. See, that point is the lowest point. And that's why we said last week that could be the low there for 3. That is the uptrend. And this could be the low. Because it just needs to be a little bit lower than that. But no, not at all. The low is most likely there. That's your high point there. And there it is. That's why I don't like Elliott wave. If you build a business upon Elliott wave and you're going to trade according to Elliott wave, you're going to make a heck of a lot of mistakes. And look what happened, it still goes lower. And I believe that it's still going to go lower under $60. Because that trend, what should happen, you guys, is I want to see a big drop and then quickly a reversal back up. We haven't seen that yet. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Let's quickly get into gold, guys. I know many people have asked me about gold. Gold is still following our pattern here, and we expect it to follow this pattern here up to this high point here of about March, January, February, March, into that point there. I don't believe it's going to break the all-time high, which is this one on the left-hand side of the chart there. And you look at about a 20% rise in gold till next year. But one of the things that I just want to mention here, and especially for Boris, you are trading in the world stock markets, especially for those people who trade gold mining stocks. If a gold mining stock, for example, and I'm just talking average figures now, is 30, you can expect gold mining stocks to go up between 200 and 600%. That is while gold only goes up 20%. Because remember, you get exponential growth in gold mining stocks. So while gold goes up to that high point there, expect your gold mining stocks between 200 and 600%. Now, I'm not saying buy it because we can't give you financial advice. But in essence, guys, just remember, that's a small percentage gain. You'll make more money in cryptos if you have the top 5. Just keep that in mind. If we go to silver, silver again, gold, when gold is about there next year, February, March, it won't break, sorry, when silver is about there, relative to silver, that is where gold's high point was. I expect silver to actually move up and most likely get into a 3-digit or very close to a 3-digit by next year. You look at about a 300 or 400% gain in silver. That's why it's important, guys, that you hold physical silver, not necessarily gold. And for goodness sake, be very careful with gold. Don't buy gold or silver on eBay or Amazon. You see what's happening all around the world. There's a lot of fake gold where when you buy a 1 kilogram bar of gold, if you cut it up in the middle, there's tungsten or metal or nefarious metals on the inside wrapped with gold. Okay, so be careful. Buy from reputable companies and make sure you own it outright. Buy from the Perth Mint in Australia. Get a serial number. You know, don't buy on eBay and Amazon because there's a lot of crooks out there. They're literally thugs, you know, who do that to innocent people. And then the Dow Jones, expect the Dow Jones to have some sort of a wobble very, very soon. One of the reasons is very simple, guys. You don't have to think outside the square here. You just need to have a look at the American news. And remember, it's not a political speech, but we just need to be smart about these things. The only way that the president of the USA, Donald Trump, can win the next election is if he wins it on grounds of a good economy. The only way the Democrats can prohibit the president from winning the next election is if they destroy the American economy and make sure that people don't have jobs. And then the president looks bad and nobody will elect him again. So I really pity the people in America, you know, that people are involved in such a nefarious bad act between two political parties, you know. But guys, this is also the reason why we invest in Bitcoin. You take responsibility for your own income. Don't allow other the government is not going to pay your debt, period. So in that sense, you can expect some sort of a drop somewhere. They are going to drop the market. We just don't know when. And the reason I say we don't know when is because I think nobody in the world can predict it. I can say to you now that I predicted now for the next week or two, there's going to be a drop. And you may be lucky that there is a drop, and then you can come back and say, oh, bang, see how spot on I was. It's not about being spot on, you guys. It's just being able to predict and say that there is going to be a drop somewhere. Nobody knows when because it's manipulated. The entire stock market is so manipulated. It's crazy. But
Marius,
expect a drop somewhere here. Yeah, go ahead.
If I may, what we do know is that historically markets pull back quite substantially in September and October. Which
exactly.
Is pattern.
Yeah.
So we're going into that right now.
Now,
yeah.
Thank you, Boris. And that's really true, guys, because remember, a lot of drops happen in September. So we can argue and say because of the past history, there's a drop. But look at this now. Let's go back to Litecoin. Could it be that while Bitcoin and cryptos go up, let me just clean up the screen. See, there's a rise in price here. Could it be that that will be the opposite of what happens in the world stock markets? Now, it's happened many times when there's a big change in the market, especially where altcoins are starting to outperform Bitcoin. Go back in history and you'll see it always happen. The world stock market dropped and Bitcoin and cryptos went up. Remember what happened in December when we called that drop in the world stock markets? World stock markets dropped, Bitcoin went up. So it could happen the opposite way. And then eventually the world stock markets will come back up again and go upwards again. Okay, guys, any questions? Let's get into it. And if there's anybody here that has got extra information, please share it with us.
Marius, this is Kevin. I had a question. Could you just, when on the Bitcoin chart, you've said don't pay attention to the time frame, but you're kind of specific on Litecoin and Ethereum. Could you be more specific on the time frame for the rise to 12 and then 15 and 17?
Yeah, looking at it now, I believe that it most likely is going to be the same time frame when Litecoin and Ethereum moves up. So let's quickly have a look at Litecoin again. Where's that chart? Let me just get to the right one here. I think it was this one. We expect that the year before September, 10 September, that we are going to have a rise in price. Now, let me just go back here and I'll give you the amount of days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. In about 9 to 10 days, maybe 12 days. I just want to see where that is. Okay. Guys, this could even, and remember what I said, we only follow the pattern. It could even be that top could be about 10, 11, or 12 September. So roundabout, let's say in the week of 10 September, I believe that Bitcoin could also have a high point. So if this is the case here, I believe that we could see a uptrend here. Whether it's going to hit that high point there of about 11 or 12,000, let's put that one there, or whether it hits this point here of about 15,000 or 17,000. I can't really quantify that in Bitcoin at the moment. Guys, Bitcoin is just so manipulated. It's just unbelievable, you know. If that happens, it could be a very strong move upwards into this level here around about 15, 16 or 17,000, and then a drop similar to that of Litecoin. So there's a few different scenarios here that we just cannot quantify. What I tend to do at this moment, I tend to follow Litecoin. It looks to me that Litecoin is more accurate in terms of algorithm analysis than Bitcoin. So what I'm looking for a downtrend. When Litecoin is at the down point there, Bitcoin will be at the low point. When Litecoin reaches up here to around about 120, wherever Bitcoin is at that point will be the high point for Bitcoin, if you understand what I mean. Guys, I'm sorry, but we just can't, at this moment, I just can't quantify Bitcoin. We've run so much analysis on that. But, you know, it's so easy to manipulate Bitcoin. I can take $1 million, which is not a lot of money, and I can manipulate Bitcoin. I can drop Bitcoin by selling increments of Satoshis at lower prices than what people are asking or willing to pay. And you keep on doing that for hours and hours and hours for a whole day, and you'll have momentum shifting downwards. It's crazy what people can do, and it's crazy that people do that. But in terms of an uptrend, we know that we're heading into a lower point here, probably over this weekend, maybe Friday afternoon. It could go a little bit lower, maybe over the weekend, but not too much. And then we're going to see an uptrend. I think once we see that turnaround of the uptrend, I'll be able to quantify dates a little bit better. But we still haven't seen that move upwards.
Marius, one more quick question on the Ethereum, if I may. Since Litecoin is so clear, Ethereum, would you start buying at 147 or so on the way down? Or would you wait a little bit, let's say in 130s range?
Yeah, let me just quickly explain Ethereum here. Can you see this diagonal line here? Our data shows that Ethereum doesn't touch this blue line. It actually comes and stops there. Now, that's the one scenario. But I'm willing to place an order at 119 because I believe there could be a stab through. If it happens, the order will be filled. But in general terms, it comes down here to around about 140, 150, around about that level, then shoots back up and just keeps on going. It never comes back. Ethereum doesn't come back. But Litecoin is a little bit different, as I explained in this chart here. Just ask your question again.
Yeah, so there is a chance to miss filling the order at a lower price if it doesn't step through like this, if it doesn't spike down. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm totally out of position on Ethereum. I'd like to be in there. And
Ethereum is
to start buying.
Ethereum is going to give you a chance to buy back again. Let me show you what we see, Boris.
It did not give me work.
I'm going to show you here. Where is that thing now? Okay, Ethereum. Let me just give me a little bit more space here. This is what I'm looking at in Ethereum. And okay, let's say it drops now. I want to see that drop like this. Okay, not like that, but you get my point. It's a drop, then it comes back up again. What it then does, it creates some sort of a sideways action here, and then it comes back again and it drops for the second time, higher than what the other drop was. So it's a higher low. And then it goes up for 1, 2, 3, and 4 days. Now I'm looking at buying Boris at that level there. Of course, I'm going to buy in this level here if I see a low, but most of my orders will be there. And then my other orders is in this blue box. Because remember, I don't like playing with my money. I don't want to play Russian roulette. Guys, I tell you, if we see that move down, up, and another down, and then a 4-day uptrend, great sign to buy. Then I buy with a lot of money. Because whether you buy a 220 year or 150 year, for me that's irrelevant because I want to safeguard my money as well. So I play it both sides. I'll probably spend 50% here on this low and the next 50% there. You don't have to do it if you are risk or experience in risk, experienced trader, then you can simply buy in the bottom here. Okay, so remember this. My own personal money, I'll probably go and buy and fill all the orders, especially on Litecoin. If Litecoin comes down here, man, that's a great buy. It's like I said to somebody else there in this week when we spoke, I said, if you buy Litecoin here on the bottom, below 60, even if you buy it at 60, we believe it's going to go back to 120. You can quickly double your money, quickly, very quickly. So guys, these are all just hypotheticals, remember that? But they are the most valid patterns that we see. Because our data sees 36 combinations and we choose what pattern is most likely to play out. And this is what I see in Litecoin. Okay, so let's quickly get into XRP. I don't think we've spoken about XRP. XRP is perfectly on track. I believe actually that this is the low that we achieved there on 14 August 2019. I don't believe that that Ripple can go lower. Although in saying that, there is a suggestion that that it could go to 21 cents. I'm not saying it is going to hit that, but it could go to this level. I don't see that in my data, but if you do a little bit of analysis, then it points to the fact that we could go down to 21. But I'm willing to say that this is the low there. Now, we are going to have a bit of an uptrend here. We're going to have one more low point there where you can buy again around about the 23 cents. But ultimately, XRP is going to break out. It's going to go upwards here, a fake breakout. It's going to come back here to this point here. Once we see that return here, that fake breakout, guys, what comes next? I don't like to speculate, but what comes next is a vertical move upwards in XRP. So this is what we can look out for in the next 20 days. Now, let's get into Digibyte. Digibyte, I believe, could perhaps have another low. I believe that it could go to that 0.007. It's already touched into this blue box that we wanted to. So it's a buy at this moment. Could it go a little bit lower? Yes, it could. But we do see an uptrend, sideways action. And at this point here at 0.008, around about there, we're going to see a sideways upwards move. Let me just see if I can get you a little bit more accurate data on DigiByte. Yeah, DigiByte is exactly what we see here. This point here could be a little bit lower. Let me just draw that in. We do show a probably about here, just a little bit lower low. And then it breaks out upwards. But it staggers upwards. It's not a coin that simply just goes vertical. Okay, so just remember that. It comes to a certain point here. And then what happens is we get a bit of a speed wobble. I just want to call the speed wobble in DigiByte. Kind of like a shock, you know. People are shocked that DigiByte is actually rising and going to 13 or 1 cent, 1.3, 0.013. And then suddenly at this point, it takes off. So it takes a bit of time for DigiByte to get its action going. So DigiByte is probably one of the last coins that breaks out. So you can, in the meantime, this is why I say, guys, Litecoin. In the meantime, we just make money here. We buy low, sell high. Where's that other chart? This one. We buy low, sell high. Buy back here, sell there again. So you can make a lot of money out of Litecoin. Litecoin is perfectly positioned. Previously, you could do this in Bitcoin, but Bitcoin, there's something not right in Bitcoin. Something is just worrying me about Bitcoin. The manipulation, the fact that we don't get credible data on Bitcoin anymore. Guys, it's crazy. And remember also in the beginning of the year, we said there's going to be a time point where Bitcoin and Litecoin and Ethereum are not going to have the same chart patterns anymore. And remember, that's happening now. So in a year or 2 years from now, cryptos, you're going to have a different chart on Ethereum, different one on Litecoin, different one on DigiByte, because they will be like the world stock markets then. Not all coins are going to move in the same direction as well. And be warned as well, guys, that there's a probability, a very big probability, that 1,000 coins will disappear from now in the next 12 months. There's a bunch of coins that have disappeared already. People just don't know it. In saying that, also with regard to DigiByte, I've got this one here. You'll see here it says XRP1, XLM2, ADA3. What you are going to see between those three coins, they're like the three musketeers. They always work together. When XRP moves, XLM moves a few days later. And when XLM moves, ADA moves a few days later. So the first coin to break out will be XRP, then comes XLM, and then ADA. The reason I'm showing you this, guys, is because a lot of people ask me, should I hold ADA or XLM? Guys, all you need to do is hold XRP because they all run kind of like the same levels, but XRP will outperform XLM and ADA. You really want to move your money into XRP if you want to be smart. Long-term ADA is good. There's no problem. You can hold it. But guys, think about this now for a second. Why would you want to hold ADA, ADA, or Cardano when you can hold Litecoin? Litecoin is, at this moment, a very favorable coin amongst institutional investors. They can buy 5,000 lots of Litecoin, which is about 300,000. You can't buy more than that on any exchange, but you can put multiple lots in. You can put 50 lots of 5,000 Litecoin. Now, and that works really well with institutional investors as well. So XLM, if you hold XRP, you don't need to hold XLM. It's going to follow the same way that XRP goes. But I don't believe XLM and ADA are the 1,000 plus percentage coins. So just keep that in mind. Okay, any other questions there?
Marius, I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Marius, what do you think Bitcoin price? I mean, lowest price we can see before it goes up. I mean, like it goes up back to 11,000 or 12,000. So what do you think the lowest price Bitcoin can hit?
Arpreet, is that you? Or is it AJ?
AJ.
Okay. The lowest price, let's just quickly have a look here. I think on this week's webinar, I said about 8.8 from memory. I'm looking at 8,800. If we head into that level there, see here 8.8. That is the target that I'm working at, 8.8. I'm not going to bother with Bitcoin if it goes lower than that. I mean, for goodness sake, if you buy Bitcoin now at 8.8, that's fine. But remember, guys, a clever way, if you don't know where the low of a market is, you come here and you buy Bitcoin at 8.8 and you leave some cash. If it drops to 8.7, you buy 8.7. But think about this now, guys. Whether you buy it at 8,300 or you buy it at 8.8, it's a $500 difference in Bitcoin. What is the percentage? It's about a 4.5% disparity. 4.5%. It's irrelevant, really. That's why I say even from 9 to 8.5, in that region, just buy. Unless you are buying 1,000 Bitcoin, then I wouldn't worry about it. Because on 1,000 Bitcoin, it makes a huge difference. 1,000 Bitcoin times $1,000, it's a lot of money. 1,000 versus $500 difference is $500,000. So that's still a big chunk of money. So, but if you buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 Bitcoin, it's not the end of the world. Because to time the market where the low is, the exact low is nearly impossible in Bitcoin at the moment. But what I can tell you, I am looking at this red line. A break of that red line to about 8.8. I think I'm not sure if you are on the call, Nigel. You sent me a fib retracement, and I think the fib retracement comes to 8.8. Wasn't that correct, Nigel? I'm not sure if you're on the call. Okay, Nigel, yeah, he's not on the call. Nigel actually lives here in Australia, in Brisbane. I can literally throw his house with a stone. And what's nice, I can hit my golf balls and it will actually land in his swimming pool. So Nigel, if you see the golf balls there, it's me. So the fib retracement, Boris, I don't know if you want to check it, but it comes down to about 8.8. So AJ, yes, that could be the level. Let me just have a look. I did get a message from Nigel.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look, Marius. But I'd like to add one more thing. If you look at the weekly for Bitcoin, Bitstamp is fine. Yeah, if you change it to a weekly, and if you're tracking 21 weeks moving average.
Okay, I just quickly want to type this in your Boris, and then we can get to yours. The fib shows. So AJ, there you are. Fib 786 shows 8882 as the retracement. So Boris, you wanted us to go to the weekly.
Right. Yeah, weekly. And if you add moving average as an indicator.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
Just moving average. If you type that, just click on that.
It's not doing anything there. Come on. Okay, it's not doing.
Sometimes you have to refresh the page to get it to work.
Yeah, let's do that. Reload.
Okay.
Okay, which one? Just the standard
21.
moving average? The exponential or?
No, moving average, that's fine, just standard.
Okay.
And change the settings in it for 21. Instead
The
of
length,
9.
21?
21, yeah. Okay, so that line, you see how we're very close to it? This is a critical point. And that particular point right now, I believe, is around 9,000 flat, or a little below. So in the past, you could, if you could put a line there, right? See, it's a little below. So in the past, you could see how that line acted as a resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And once it crosses, there are other indicators needed to be also put in there. But essentially, this is important right there. So it could come down and touch that line. And it could drop below it a little bit. As long as it comes back, we're okay. But if it drops below it and stays below it and another week or so, then that's not a good indicator.
Yeah, and you're right, Boris. You know, sometimes when you have this moving average, it does drop a little bit below and come back up strong. So
yeah, if you go back, you could see it actually.
Yeah.
A little more. If you could shrink it, that'd be better. Yeah, so you can see this is going back to last bull run.
Yes.
Of 2017. You can see how it's always above that line. But then it touched it right there. You could see it back in September.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there too. So there, it went right through. You could see that between July and August, right there. You went through it and it bounced back up and it acted as a support, and that's it. So this is a very good indicator, and it seems to be working. Always critical. So hopefully, if we touch it, we don't break below it and stay below it. We could just bounce off of it. That's fine. But it coincides with your number exactly, 88, almost 8,900.
Yeah. So the FIB 786 is about 8,882. So that is where we see the low. Guys, the thing is also that I believe that tomorrow USA time between 3 and 5 o'clock, more or less that time, that's going to be the low. Can the market go slightly lower? Yes, but not drastically like a huge drop. What I want to see a drop here today, and then tomorrow maybe. Well, today in the next 30 minutes, we're going to have the new chart up because we work on UTC -4 here, there. So next 30 minutes, the next candle will show. And the next candle is going to be red, in my opinion. And it's going to drop below this $9,000 line and could potentially hit 888. That is where I believe the target's going to be. And then it's going to shoot back up again. And I believe we're going to have a play, upwards momentum here. One of the reasons that I say that Bitcoin must move up is because I believe that Litecoin is becoming the leader of the pack, as per se. The more I look at Litecoin is playing out exactly what it should. And it looks to me as if Bitcoin follows Litecoin now. When the drop happened, you saw that Litecoin dropped first, and then Bitcoin dropped later. I had a look at that about 30 minutes later. So it's not anymore that Bitcoin drops and then the other coins drop. So Bitcoin is manipulated in the sense that they're keeping it down. Now, don't get me wrong. If they release Bitcoin will be the first one to move back up, and then the other coins will follow. So there's something happening in Bitcoin that I can't lay my hands on, but there's a lot of manipulation going on there. But regardless of manipulation, you can't manipulate the entire market. You know, there's sentiment. Sentiment is going to buy Litecoin. It's going to buy Ethereum. It's going to buy Bitcoin Cash. The market is going to move up. Regardless of what these people do, you can't hold Bitcoin back. You just cannot do it.
Marius, it's Vince.
Yo, Vince.
Since BAT is going to allow deposits on Bitcoin starting September 6th for institutions and, of course, the accredited investors, I would think that after the Labor Day holiday that the institutions will be chatting it up to their customers
Mm-hmm.
and have the Bitcoin. Of course, the Bitcoin that they own, they'll have deposited, but they'll be chatting it up that, hey, you can get delivery of this Bitcoin and we're going to hold it for you in our secure storage that we have arranged. So I would expect to see something in the next, after a week, start seeing some buzz being created by the big banks and the institutions.
I believe that is true as well, Vince. And let me just explain to you guys. And I'm probably going to get my billionaire investor. I'm going to get him on the call here because I spoke to him for about 2 hours the other day, and I sent Bill Nolan evidence of the conversation. You know, so it's not, guys, I'm not faking these things. It's the truth. You know, and I think I spoke to Bill and said, listen, how would you like if I bring my billionaire investor that he trades with JP Morgan's money? He's got a finger in the pie in JP Morgan. He's on the calls with these guys. He knows what's happening. How would you guys like if we bring him on a call here?
Absolutely.
I mean, that would just be amazing.
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah. So yeah. So we are working in that direction, guys. So we're going to bring you that, and then you can hear from the horse's mouth. Now, in the 2-hour conversation, we spoke about a whole bunch of stuff, you know. I mean, the Bentley that he wants to buy or is buying or ordered. I mean, this guy, I just ordered a car. If you look at the inside of the car, it's just crazy, man. This guy's making money like you cannot believe. Anyway, we spoke about the cars. We spoke about his house that he wants to buy and the investing. And then a very interesting thing, he then mentioned to me about the Vatican. And suddenly I perked up on my seat and I said, what? Tell me a little bit more about that. There's a guy that worked at the Vatican, of all places, that have just recently told him that they, whoever they are, this guy doesn't want to say, but he said that they have released, in the exact words that I'm telling you now, they have released Bitcoin to go up. And he said, I can only tell you that. I can't tell you more. So somewhere around the world, Bitcoin and cryptos are heavily manipulated. And I know one guy on Twitter, he said to me, you keep saying that Bitcoin is manipulated. Where's the evidence? Guys, it's manipulated. I can't give the guy evidence. If I dig deep, I can probably come up with objective evidence and show you how it's manipulated. But there are people, let's not call it maybe manipulation. Let's call it they control cryptos. They decide if cryptos go up. They decide if it drops. But what I've heard is that the big boys around the world have decided to release Bitcoin and it's going to go up. And does this now not coincide with what I said, that we are going to have 1,000% rise? My data already sees it. This for me was like, and we spoke about that. We got into the call that he had with the banks the other day. Very interesting, guys, that the banks are starting to buy cryptos, OTC, a lot of coins. And I may get him on the call and then we can ask him some questions. I'll have a chat with him. A great guy that I really want to introduce to our group. There's not many people that I would introduce to us because, you know, just the nature of people, you know, but this guy's a very, very good guy. And I've been, you know, he's been one of the guys that helped me also build cryptos, build wealth, and maybe it will be advantageous to many of you as well. Guys, just one question here. I see that Harpreet. Harpreet, do you want to ask that question? Is it a question different than what we spoke yesterday about, or? Harpreet, my brother, are you there?
Yeah, good, Marius. I'm here, right? Just got a question in regards to, right, what's happening with the PPT? Is that like, can you go share a chart of PPT, right?
Let me have a look and see where is my chart of PPT. Okay, I'll bring that up. Just give me a second here. Go ahead, and what is your question there?
I might like on 10th of September, most of the coins are ready to break out. Is that the PPT is also on the same direction, or is it like it's gonna further be hammered down?
Okay, there is a very big probability that here it is. Let me just bring it over. Okay, PPT is not a buy yet. Okay, yeah, there we go. So PPT is coming very close to being a buy, but not yet. And if we look at this one here, I haven't had a look at this chart now in ages, but we still got the 11th September there. Let me just save that. We've still got the 11th of September here where we see a trend reversal. But do expect it by the latter part of September. PPT will move probably slower in an uptrend. What I want to see is this, and I think we drew that last time. We want to see the 2B algorithm, this MAE. We want to see that make a turn. But then we want to see the 3B algorithm go above this one. And remember, this is what I said. I said this is your buy time. When that crosses, there, exactly there, that's your buy, not now. Now, in saying this, guys, remember that I bought PPT at $5. I bought here at lower levels. I still hold my PPT, but there is going to become a point in time, if it goes any lower, that I will for sure buy more PPT. This is not specifically a coin that I will use to trade and make my big stash of money. Just remember this, we said stick with the top 5 cryptos: Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, Digibyte, Bitcoin Cash. Those are the 5 that the banks are buying as well. But never sell your PPT. It's not worth it, guys. You'll lose too much. The best is to hold it. It's going to go back. I think we spoke about this yesterday as well with this investor I mentioned to you. And we also believe that this will go back to $100. It's going to make a turnaround. And when it turns, it will just move upwards really big. But nothing more further to say on that. Just a question with regard to KBC. We do see KBC, guys, similar to PPT. It's going to go back up to 12 cents. At that point, it's advisable to get out of KBC and move into the top 5. Now, remember this, I have got KBC. I don't plan to sell my KBC. Maybe a little bit, but I don't plan to sell it. There is announcements that the company will make in the next month or 2. I want to see what those announcements are before I make further decisions. Now, I haven't got 100,000 in KBC. You know, if you have millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars in KBC, then you really need to focus and get out of KBC at the next high point at about 12 cents. This will happen after 10 September, in the latter part of September. There's another question here about BNB. BNB is one of the coins that you can simply hold. Although it's dropped a lot into this level here, you can see a drop below the 2B algorithm, the mathematical equation. There's a buffer zone here. We believe it can go to about $19. But when this comes back up, guys, you're going to see a move in BNB that will be probably like this. It will just simply come back. They have resistance there and then go back up again. I bought it, I can't remember, you know, I bought a whole bunch everywhere and I've never sold it. I'm long term. I bought some here, somewhere there. I bought everywhere. So there are coins that I buy and simply hold. Like, for example, NEO, BNB. It's not worth it for me personally to sell it. But if you trade BNB, it's a good time to buy. And you simply hold. It will come back very, very strong. A big correction like this, a big correction like that is just going to go back up again. Okay, any more questions here, guys? Let's.
Marius, this is Cal.
Yeah, Cal.
Good to hear you as always. Thanks for all that you do. Two things. One comment, this is probably for everyone that's listening. Wax, it's on your list, and it's actually in its last 2 days before it has to be transferred to the new chain. So just FYI to everyone that owns Wax on the Ethereum blockchain, you need to do the swap in the next 2 days.
Yeah, just make sure about that, guys. No, thanks for that information. That's good info. Yep.
Yep. And then the second one is we've been talking over the past like 3 or 4 weeks about Bitcoin at some point plateauing and then transferring that Bitcoin into other cryptos. How does it look now?
Okay, I still own my Bitcoin, and I intend to keep that because I want to spread my risk. But it looks to me that Bitcoin has been suppressed in price to align with the spike or the uptrend in Litecoin. And let me explain it like this. From what I look at now, if we're going to head downwards with Litecoin here, we are going to see, let's just move that on about there, more or less there. If we see this low in Litecoin, we're going to have a low in Bitcoin as well. And then we're going to have this uptrend here where Litecoin could potentially be around about 110, 120, in that range. Now, that range is about 100%. If you look at that range there, between 80 and 100%, to be a little bit more correct. Now, if you look at Bitcoin here, at this moment, we don't know where that uptrend will be. If this uptrend where Litecoin hits 100%, could it be that Bitcoin just makes that 36% that it normally does? Now, if Bitcoin only makes 36%, then that is the turnaround of the Bitcoin dominance. That means that Bitcoin has lost its dominance. If it goes up here to this $17,000 mark, which is also a 100% gain, see there, then Bitcoin dominance is still in play because it's on par now with Litecoin. And this is what I said earlier, Kel, is that I don't know at this moment how far Bitcoin is going to go. Could Bitcoin turn around and do this and go up there and then drop and then do its second leg where that is actually the high point for Litecoin? See that point there? So let's go back to Litecoin. See this point here. Could that be the high point of 17,000 for Bitcoin? Now, if I look at Bitcoin, I have to say that if I look at Bitcoin, that I believe that Bitcoin is only going to make this 36% move.
Marius?
Yes.
Martin here. If you look to Bitcoin versus Litecoin, Litecoin came really down to Bitcoin. So Litecoin, the last week, came even 10% down compared in dollar price compared to Bitcoin. So I believe Litecoin will outperform Bitcoin even in the coming weeks.
I think so too, because if I look at the data now, I believe that Litecoin could go up that 80 to 100%, but I believe that Bitcoin is going to be very slow by moving up only around about 31% or 36% actually. That's the target that we had. See that 36 to that target there of about just under $12,000. So guys, but then remember this, Bitcoin doesn't stop. You know, it has a bit, if that happens, it has a bit of a speed wobble here, a bit of a retracement, and it could easily shoot up to 17 or 19, between 17 and 18,000. It could easily do that. Bitcoin is one of these things that will make you crazy at the moment. I mean, we are sitting here in the office and we're looking at data, and there is so much disparity of the data that it's actually confusing to work it out. Because this whole downtrend here really shouldn't have happened there. You know, it should have broken out by now. That happened there on that date here of 13 August. That was when the SEC announced that there's going to be no ETF. And look, the market just simply broke down, struggled to come back up, and now obviously with momentum pulling it down. As a matter of fact, I think the chart that we had was something like this from memory. I can go and find it, but this has just slightly moved on. Now remember this, when markets move on, you don't lose money, you'll still make your money. It just takes a bit of extra time. That's the only thing. And this is something, guys, that we just need to get used to. The time and date will catch you out every single time. And this is why I said here with Litecoin, you know, guys, let's have a look at the pattern. And remember this now, this is the other pattern now that I'm giving you, the more accurate pattern. And take a screenshot of that. You know, a drop here where you can sell, buy, sell, buy. You can make a lot of money in Litecoin here.
Marius, it means Adam here. Just looking at why you got that chart up there, you know, it sounds like for the algorithm data, there's good farming potential in Litecoin, and then Ethereum is going to start to go up first. At what point do you think you'd be not recommending, but looking to maybe move your Litecoin holding into maybe Ethereum?
See, I'm never going to move my Litecoin into Ethereum, because my Litecoin will stay my Litecoin, you know. So if I sell $500,000 worth of Litecoin here, or sorry, buy, and I sell there at the top, I'll have $1 million worth of Litecoin. I'll come back here. Well, it doesn't work really like that, but let's have lower figures. 10,000 here. At that point, they'll sell. I could make 20,000. At this low point here, I buy back. At that high point here, I could have 25 or 30,000. But then I come back here on the bottom and I take that big amount of money and I buy Litecoin again, and I simply keep. I never ever transfer my Litecoin back into Ethereum, because I trade Ethereum, I trade Litecoin. Now with Ethereum, I've got money lying there to buy Ethereum. As soon as I buy at this low point here, I'm going to buy, remember what we said, we expect this pattern. See that pattern there? I'll probably buy there. I'm going to ladder in my buys. I'll buy there again, because that for me is confirmation. And then a big chunk of money is going to go in somewhere in this blue box. As a matter of fact, if I see this 4-day uptrend, remember this, that will be, let me just put that in. The way you're going to notice that is a 4-day uptrend. There. You know this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. If I see we move up 1 day, 2 day, I'm laddering in my buys. Bang, I buy, and then the vast majority of money goes in there. And then I just simply hold it. The money in Litecoin stays in Litecoin.
Sorry, I just thought at one point you were going to sell your Litecoin at the high and just hold it in cash, and then wait for markets to drop, and then maybe move some of that cash into Ethereum to hold a larger percentage of Ethereum, just going back.
Yeah, I can do that, or I think I would have done that, but at the moment now, if I look at the markets now, I'm not going to do that. You know, because I've got enough money in Ethereum and I've got enough money in Litecoin. You know, so this is just how I look at it at this moment. But guys, there's no problem if you come here at this high point here and you sell and you move some into Ethereum. So you can do that as well. But this low point, I think last time when we spoke, this low point was expected in Ethereum to be later. and the low point in Litecoin would have been first, and then Ethereum comes a day or two later. So no, I wouldn't do that. I believe that this low point is going to happen all at the same time.
Okay, thanks.
Marius, the correlation on end of year pricing or end of cycle pricing on Litecoin versus Ethereum, if I remember correctly, Ethereum is going to be about 4-to-1 price ratio. And it looks like our buying opportunity coming up in the next 10, 12, 14 days or so is going to be about a 2-to-1 ratio between the price of Litecoin versus Ethereum, approximately. So down the road, Ethereum is going to be a good hold, it would look like, on a one-for-one basis anyway.
Do you want to explain that just a little bit more?
All right. What if I can buy Litecoin at $60 and I'm able to buy Ethereum at $120 or $30? That's 2-to-1.
Yep.
Okay. But down the road, we're talking about maybe as late as what, June of 2020, end of cycle, that Ethereum, the banks, the big investors, let's say that, are looking at like $13,000 plus Ethereum and approximately $3,000, $3,000 to $4,000 Litecoin, correct?
Correct.
So my real farming aside, not looking at any farming opportunities, but just to buy basis now and hold for, let's say, a year, that I can make more money holding Ethereum potentially, if the numbers play out, than I can with Litecoin.
Exactly, Vince. But guys,
I only mention that as something to consider when people want to sell and dump all their coins out of one, looking a little further down the road, if those things play out as we know at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. So, guys, the coins that I hold just at the moment, I hold a lot of Ethereum and a heck of a lot of Litecoin, and I'm due to buy a lot more Litecoin, and then I hold Bitcoin Cash. I have not yet bought my full positions on XRP and Digibyte. The reason is I want to play Litecoin first. I want to make as much money as I can there. Some of that Litecoin may go into XRP and Digibyte, and some of the Litecoin later on may go into Ethereum. But the point of this is, if you look at these 5 coins, what I suggest is that you split them up, that you have about 60 to 70% of your portfolio in these top 5 coins. Whether you have 20, 20, 20, 20, and 20%, that's fine as well. Or you may have 30% in Litecoin. And the reason I leave this open-ended is because there are some people here that just don't like Litecoin. I know of people here on this call who own 0 Litecoin, and they don't like it. And there's reasons there as well. There are some people that don't like Ethereum. So there's guys here on this call who've got millions of XRP and millions of Digibyte as well. So it really depends on where you want to be. In my case, I may trade some of these coins for a while. I'm not going to trade them forever. Like I've already said, that when XRP happens, when the break in XRP happens, it's going to go for 21 days. And then I'm going to get out of XRP and move that into Ethereum. So the same with Digibyte. There's going to come a point in Digibyte where I'm going to get out of Digibyte. A lot of people think it's going to go to $10. I'm not going to wait for $10. Before that time, I'm going to sell and move it into Ethereum or Litecoin. Because, and Vince, when we get to that point, I'm probably going to give you just a long-term view how I see it, where Ethereum will stop, where Litecoin will stop and all that. And I'm working on that to give you guys a long-term plan of where you may want to move your coins into. You know, get out of XRP, move it into Litecoin, get out of Litecoin at a certain point, move it into Ethereum. If we play this correct, we can make some big money. So
Marius,
really,
what about Digibyte? Are the banks buying Digibyte, or what's the deal with the Digibyte coin? Why is that such an important coin?
all I can say is that who's this company now? I can't remember now the name, but yes,
Fidelity?
they are. Fidelity, yes. Fidelity is definitely buying Digibyte. The reason is I've spoken to a fund manager myself, and I know they're doing it. And they're buying bit by bit every single day. They are definitely buying. Now, are they buying millions and millions? I don't know. The word is just that they are buying Digibyte. Now, I don't know why Digibyte is so important for them. I can't answer you on that. But one of the reasons is that, let me just get my data up here quickly. Just give me a second here. Digibyte should be, I think, is that, what was that? I can't get the data now, but it should be, is it 1 to 1,000 with regard to Bitcoin? So Digibyte should be a lot higher than what it is now. I believe at about, I haven't got all my information here now, but Digibyte at this price is unreal. It shouldn't be. How it is at that price, it really bugs my mind. At this moment now, a fair price for Digibyte is $3.40. And when Bitcoin reaches about 20,000, Digibyte should be $10. Guys, the only thing that I can think is manipulation. Now remember this, I'm not saying that Fidelity or any of the big institutions are manipulating Digibyte. But remember this, big financial institutions are not like you and me. They can sit and put their money in for 2 years, 3 years, and they can ride it out, and whenever they want, they can move the price. And I think this is what's going to happen in Digibyte. Digibyte is going to come here from nowhere and simply here at this point. Remember I said it's going to go sideways upwards. If you see that sideways upwards move here over a period of about 30 days, and then it's going to look like it's going to drop, guys, what comes there is a big move in Digibyte. I believe this coin is heavily manipulated and kept low. Talk to the guy who founded Digibyte, who started Digibyte. He'll tell you the same. Now, how they control these prices bugs my mind, because we've tried to have a look. You can look at volumes, you can look at all indicators. I mean, we've got the best data in the world probably to look at it, but we can't figure out how they keep the price at that level. All I'm saying to you, that price where it is now is very low. Could it be, think about this now, there's no ETF approved yet. Could it be that they are waiting and keeping the price as low as possible, and they're waiting for the SEC to approve an ETF? And then once an ETF is approved, they will come and buy Digibyte like crazy with millions of dollars. And what happens then? It spikes up quickly, $3, $5, $10. That's also a possibility. Now, that is not something that I can say is objective evidence. It's more hearsay. It's more subjective evidence. But this is something that I'm looking at very, very closely to buy. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, can we look at XRP again? Is it the 21 days, is it still breaking out in September, or is it going into now October as well?
Yeah, the big breakout happens after 10 September. Guys, I'm just going to mute everybody quickly. Yeah, the big breakout starts after the week of 10th of September. Then the altcoins consolidate. Some of them start moving up, but most of them will start consolidating, similar to that of Ethereum. Remember I said this pattern of advances here in that blue box, it consolidates, and then it starts moving. Not all the coins are going to move at the same time. Sorry, does that answer your question? I couldn't hear the last segment.
Yeah, it does. Now, I was just thinking if, you know, how you mentioned Ethereum is the first to break out. So, I mean, if Ethereum is sort of breaking out close to, you know, end of October, then I thought maybe XRP is moving into October or something like that.
The first coin to show, let's not call it that it will break out, but let's call it the signs of breaking out. The pre-signs. So the signs of making war is that they're moving tanks in, they're moving their artillery in, the fighter jets are getting ready. You know, your troops on the ground, the special forces are doing their thing. Okay, so that is what's happening here at this stage here. And when we see that consolidation phase, then we know there's a breakout coming. Now, Ethereum is the first one to show the consolidation phase. Then we get Litecoin. Remember with the Litecoin spike, we should see an uptrend here, that heartbeat. And then it does a little consolidation phase as well. But remember, it went up higher and then it comes back, different than Ethereum. Sideways and then upwards. DigiByte, a little bit different. It goes sideways for a bit of time. Maybe breaks out here somewhere at the end of September, mid-October maybe. And then XRP is similar to DigiByte. Breaks out a little bit first, but it has a fake breakout. Comes down, and that's where you want to make sure you're in the market, and then we go for 21 days. Approximately, 21 days. I think, guys, the main thing that we can take from this message this morning is that expect a little bit of a downtrend between now and tomorrow, American time. Maybe Bitcoin at 8.8. But this, in my opinion, is the low and the last low in cryptos.